I'm here with Ella, the lovely Ella, and we've just watched Arsenal smoke Leeds 5-0. Ella, your initial thoughts on the performance?
Yeah, I don't want to use the word expected, but I guess it kind of is, isn't it? Or at least what I think we deserved out of this game with the way that we played, particularly in the second half. I know that it took us a little bit of time. I don't know what minute we scored the first goal, but definitely 35 minutes in, and Leeds looked like they might be settling into the game. But then we did get that goal, and then from that point onwards, it was basically game over. It just the goals kept coming. But yeah, it's definitely a positive because, we look at the last game away at Old Trafford, a really tough fixture and a fixture that was always going to be difficult no matter how we played. But definitely looking at this performance, there's a lot more positives in the actual football that we played. And I understand that you have to look at the opposition and Leeds, and no disrespect to Leeds, but, you know, we maybe were always more likely to play how we wanted to play at home against Leeds rather than away at Old Trafford. But definitely still seeing things that are positive in the football that we played today.
No, you're right. I mean, like you said, last week was a difficult day. It was always going to be difficult. Man United, first game of the season, away from home, a place where we have struggled in the past. So I thought, I was one of those looking at it like, to go there, to win, not concede, that was positive. But today, there was a lot more expectation on the team. We're expected to beat Leeds, like you said, and we knew that they would try and put up some resistance. We started really well. I thought there was a period where the intensity kind of slipped out of us a little bit. You could see Leeds gaining confidence. But once we got the goal from Timber, I think, yeah, that corrected things and was on our way.
Yeah, and listen, it was a great first goal from Timber, and people will say what they want to say about set pieces again this season, but for me, it's such a huge asset to have what we have because, listen, we know that goals can come from anywhere at this football club, and sometimes, like we saw against United, you just need to get it over the line, and we managed to do that. And if it comes from a corner, it comes from a corner. It doesn't matter how. At the end of the day, they don't look at that. So it's great to be able to score. Well, we scored two goals from corners today. So yeah, it's incredible. And then we saw what Gyökeres did in open play. So we've it looks like we could have it all this season, and it's really positive.
Absolutely. And what I found interesting about that as well is that Jurien Timber was probably the shortest man in the box at that time. He
I
manages
think
to
he
go up.
was.
But yeah, so that was great. But let's talk about Victor Gyökeres. You mentioned him
Yes.
because this was a big game for him today. His first game at home in the Premier League. He didn't have a very good game last week, let's be honest. The trolls were out. And in that first half, he had an opportunity, which, let's face it, a guy of his quality should be dealing with that. He didn't. And we was all thinking, oh, no, it could be one of those days. But to be fair to him, he bounced back well. He didn't go missing, kept on it, and got his goal. What a goal as well.
An incredible, incredible goal, and a very Victor Gyökeres-esque goal because we've seen so many times at Sporting when he likes to come out from the wing and then cut back in and score. So yeah, he did what he did with that goal, and it was, like you said, it was a top goal. But I think, listen, inevitably there's a lot of pressure when you come to Arsenal and you're the main guy, you're the striker. Particularly when you look at some of the strikers we've had in the past, wearing that number 14 shirt is heavy. But yeah, listen, I always expected it was going to take him a little bit of time to come in and adapt. It's very different. It is from Portugal, and I think he knew it was going to be different physically. I guess maybe the tempo of the game as well. And listen, Arsenal played different to Sporting, so it was always going to have a little bit of a period of adapting. So even to score in a second game, score two goals in a second game, I think that's huge and that's really, really positive. And to talk about the penalty as well, he's just
Yeah,
he's
there
just got
was.
something about him. He's so cool with it. He just doesn't look like a guy that lets pressure face him at all. So
That's an excellent point, actually, because there was a lot of pressure on him. People were going to look at it and say, oh, we were 4-0 up. But at the end of the day, there was a lot of pressure because he's not the normal. Is he the designated penalty taker? I'm not
yeah,
sure.
I think he is this
He is
season. I
now,
think
okay.
so.
Because Saka was off the pitch, so he took it. Had he missed that, the trolls would have still been saying, oh, look, he flunked the penalty. But like you said, put his foot through it, never in doubt, great moment. And I want to say this as well, because you raised a very interesting point during the watch long. You were talking about the adjustments he's going to have to make. So just tell the people what you were saying about with
You
regards to
know,
that.
just almost talking about how Gyökeres is going to fit in and what might possibly change this season. And I think it's really interesting because, you know, we look at last season and obviously everyone was calling for an out-and-out striker. And I think that's because a lot of the time Arsenal actually created quite a lot of chances, but ultimately didn't necessarily have someone there at the right time in the right place to put it in the back of the net. So I think it is going to be really interesting looking at what Arteta does this season, because I almost think that you don't necessarily have to change too much in the way that we play, because I think we are a team that creates so much. And that's why we brought in someone like Gyökeres, who just almost is there, like Haaland sometimes, who might not be in the game that much, but can just literally tap it in, get it over the line. But listen, I think we might be seeing parts of games where we play slightly different passes, trying to put him through. But on the whole, I don't think a lot is going to change. I just think he's that addition to where we might be like that team that finally gets games over the line more than last season, where we struggled in some games against lower oppositions in the table. So I think, yeah, on the whole, I don't think too much of the style will change. But listen, we have to...
No, that's a very interesting point, because I mean, I was saying that the reverse might be the case, but then when you said what you said, it did make a lot of sense. I guess what you're saying is that it's a two-way thing. Everyone thinks that we've got to play exclusively to his strengths, but obviously he's going to have to adapt as well. So I hear what you're saying. Just want to end on another player that did really well today, taking a lot of the headlines. Max Dowman came on, looked really good, really composed, really aggressive with the ball, won us a penalty. Your thoughts on Max Dowman?
I love the kid. He's already such a fan favourite. I mean, you can't not love him. He's such an incredible talent, and I just think what Arsenal have been cooking in the academy recently is amazing. And listen, he's obviously one for the future, but to see him come on and make his Premier League debut at 15, the second youngest in the Premier League after Ethan, is a really special moment. And like, I can't remember who said it on the panel, but like someone said, you know, instantly comes on, wins us a penalty, makes the difference in the game. So he's someone that's going to be really interesting to keep an eye out this season. I think Arteta is keen to give him some minutes. Obviously, you kind of need to ease him in a little bit, although he looks like a ridiculous talent. It's still a lot of pressure. So you need to bring him on at the right times and the right moments. But I definitely think we can expect to see a lot of him this season.
Definitely, especially when you get teams like Leeds are going to come, put up the low block, and you get someone like Dowman who's going to pick up the ball, fearless, direct, win fouls, we get you opportunities in the box. So yeah, great.
100%. I like the word that you said, fearless. He just looks like, I know he's 15, but he looks like he's been playing for years in the Premier League. And I know physically he might not be up to the Premier League, you know, strength-wise, but I just think you have to give him a little bit of time for him to come in. Even in pre-season when we were watching him, he looked special and won us penalties. Can't remember if he scored in pre-season or not, but yeah, a really exciting talent, and we have to keep an eye on him this season.
Definitely. Well said, Anna. Thank you very much.